Figures from a survey completed by the Royal Veterinary College into heatstroke reveal that British vets see a 5-fold increase in cases during heat waves, and most of the animals they're treating are dogs, and 1 in 4 of those dogs will die of heatstroke. So why is it, when most dog owners are aware of the risks of leaving their dog in a car on a hot day, that so many people are still getting it wrong? The answer to that question will surprise and shock you. In this video, I'm going to show you the 4 ways, yes there are 4, that a dog maintains its body temperature within a safe range. I'm also going to show you why things go wrong. I'm going to show you how to spot the signs of heat stress, which is the precursor to heat stroke. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to help keep your dog cool on a hot day. I'm Colin Butcher, the Pet Detective, and welcome to Pet Detective TV.
It's summer in Great Britain, and the country is in the middle of its 3rd heat wave, and there's another heat wave on the way, bringing record-breaking temperatures of over 35 degrees centigrade. And veterinary practices across the country are experiencing more cases of heat stroke than any other time of year. But according to research conducted by the Royal Veterinary College, only 5% of those cases are down to people leaving their dogs in hot cars. So what is causing the other 95% of heat stroke cases? To find the answer to that question, we first have to look at how a dog regulates its body temperature. All dogs maintain their body temperature within a very narrow range, what's known as the set point. And for most dogs, that's between 37.5 degrees centigrade and 39.7 degrees centigrade. However, larger breeds, those over 50 kilograms, and the brachycephalic breeds, characterized by their flat faces, have much narrower set points. And owners of these breeds of dogs should familiarize themselves with what those set points are. This chart gives a visual representation of what those temperature ranges actually mean. Large dogs and flat-faced breeds are a lot closer to the threshold at which they would experience heat stress, which is the precursor to heat stroke. Maintenance of a safe body temperature is controlled by the thermoregulatory center deep within the dog's brain, and excess heat is removed in the following 4 ways. The first way a dog regulates its body temperature is through radiation. On cooler days, the dog's body heat simply radiates upwards. And you can see how radiation heat loss works by looking at the heat above these candles. The building in the background shimmers as the heat radiates upwards into the atmosphere. The second method of thermoregulation is through convection. Air currents passing across the dog's back pull the warm heat away and replace it with cooler air. And when combined, these 2 methods of thermoregulation will remove 70% of a dog's excess body heat. However, during heat waves, the air temperature rises rapidly, rendering these 2 methods of heat regulation almost ineffective. And even light exercise, such as a dog walk, can send a dog's body temperature surging upwards. And this is where we find the answer to those other 95% cases of heat stroke. They're caused by people exercising their dogs on hot days, what's referred to as exertional heat stroke. To show you why dogs, especially smaller breeds, are so vulnerable to exertional heat stroke, we went out during the most recent heat wave and, using an infrared thermometer, recorded some ground temperatures on routes that most dog walkers would encounter on an average day. And the temperatures we recorded may shock you. This tarmac path, which is typical of most towns in England, holds a temperature of over 50 degrees centigrade and will retain that temperature long after the sun has gone down. Even walks in shaded areas have hidden dangers. The temperature in the shade is recorded at just 20 degrees. However, move 5 meters forward into bright sunshine and the temperature increases to 46 degrees centigrade. And even pea shingle carries a hidden risk, recording a temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. These are all dangerous temperatures for small dogs. Their chest, abdomen, and most of their vital organs will be very close to the ground and exposed to these really high temperatures, causing their body temperature to surge upwards. An increase of body temperature of just 1 degree centigrade will be immediately picked up by sensors within a dog's body, and the third method of thermoregulation will be activated. Most dog owners will be familiar with the sound of their dog panting, but very few people realize exactly what is going on. The blood vessels around certain vital organs have become constricted, and those closer to the surface will widen in an attempt to dissipate unwanted heat. The dog's breathing rate and heart rate increase significantly, and the dog no longer exhales out of its nostrils. This is what causes the panting sound. An inhaled breath passes across fleshy plates known as terminus. These plates are covered in blood vessels, and as the air passes across the surface, convection takes place. Once the dog removes the oxygen from the air, the breath is exhaled out of the mouth, and as the air passes across the surface of the tongue, the mucus dries out and evaporation takes place. And you can see evaporation taking place in this footage, where the water droplets on a hot surface disappear, taking the heat with them. Unless you are a professional dog handler, working with a dog that's fully acclimatized to the prevailing conditions, then you should always see panting on a hot day for exactly what it is. Your dog is beginning to exhibit the signs of heat stress. Additional early signs that your dog is beginning to experience heat stress may include drooling, redness of the gums, and general disorientation. And unless you act promptly to implement active cooling, you run a significant risk that your dog will quickly move towards heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Cooling your dog down on a hot day is a lot easier than you think. All you're going to do is to replicate the methods of thermoregulation that we've already covered in this video. Which brings me on to the fourth method that dogs use to regulate their body temperature, which is conduction. You will have noticed that the hair on your dog's chest and stomach is a lot finer than anywhere else in its body. There's a reason for this. It enables the dog to lose heat through conduction. On a hot day, a dog simply finds an area in the shade, spreads itself out, and a cooler ground temperature will pull the heat out of its body. To replicate evaporation, convection, and radiation heat loss, spray your dog's coat in a fine mist of water and then introduce an air current. A portable fan will do the job. You're simply letting nature work its magic. All you need to do is, as the coat dries out, is remist and perhaps move the fan around. And continue to do so until you see your dog visibly recover from the sign of heat stress. I will leave you with this final message. Always remember that your dog is a lot closer to the ground than you are, and whilst you may not feel the heat, your dog certainly will. And the smaller the dog, the greater the risk of heat stress. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.